Hi, good evening, and welcome to Excellence in Parenting, the finale. And now we know that the global pandemic has been far reaching, and consequences included disruption of learning for children and teens. Students continue to remain home, and in response, the team at LSC Publications took steps to create and publish a tool that would aid student learning as well as their parents in a quest to better support online, blended, and hybrid learning initiatives. First of its kind to the Caribbean region, the Excellence Journal, a student study journal for self-directed learning, coupled with the Excellence in Parenting program, was developed and launched in April 2021 to be able to strengthen both the parents' ability to support their children while learning from home, and two, to support the child's ability to succeed and thrive. Now, I'm excited this evening because we have with us two parents that just got concluding with the Excellence in Parenting April cohort as they took part in the webinar series, Use the Excellence Journal, and now we're super excited to be able to have them joining in this evening. So, of course, I want to say good night to all of those viewing online, viewing us live. We always love when you're able to tune in, and we want to encourage that as the finale, this is a public event, a public affair. So I want to encourage you to share the link with those parents, mummies and daddies, aunties, uncles, guardians that are supporting kids, because while we may be at the end of the academic term, we're still primed for recognizing the importance of saying, this is what we've learned, this is what went well, these were my challenges, this is how I can do differently come September 2021. Because guess what? September is coming, September is coming. And our goal at LSE Publications is to be able to support parents so you would be most prepared for the academic year coming in September. So whether learning continues online, blended, hybrid, or otherwise, you're going to be tuned in and ready to go. So I want to encourage you through the Excellence in Parenting program. We have two hashtags that are our favorites. We have hashtag light bulb, where if something is said and it resonates with you, we want you to use that hashtag light bulb and share your thoughts, because we want to be able to read what you're saying in that comment section. And of course, we have hashtag ask, because we're definitely going to be answering your questions as we go through this live and spend a couple of minutes really reminiscing on the process we've been through with the Excellence in Parenting webinar series, and more importantly, sharing those really valuable points that we want you mummies and daddies to take away based on the experience of the parents who are here to share this evening. So joining me tonight is who I like to call Mommy Richards and Daddy Rollocks. We have two parents joining in studio tonight, and I really want to welcome them, Mommy Richards and Daddy Rollocks, because they are parents who are joining on. So let me let you introduce yourself. You would do such a better job than I would, Mommy Richards. Let me let you take center in introducing yourself as a parent.
Hi, good night, everyone. I am Mommy Richards, as she will rightfully say. I'm the proud parent of 3 boys and 1 on the way. So, getting, I love the tool, the Excellence Journal. So, can't wait to dive in and tell you more.
Definitely. And Daddy Rollocks, let me have you introduce yourself to our viewing audience.
Hello, good evening all. Hello to Mommy Richards, and hello to everyone else out there who's listening in. It's certainly a pleasure to be here to share how the Excellence Journal has impacted myself, my son and mom, and how it has made a big difference, certainly. So I'm really excited to be here.
Definitely. And one of the things I want to ask you guys to start off, let's kick off the evening talking about challenges. Because, of course, the challenges really stand as the foundation of the reason why we're here. Life was not perfect even before the pandemic. Parents they experienced challenges even before. And now with the introduction of online learning, those challenges took on a life of its own. So let's start off with Daddy Rollocks. what were those challenges you would say, Dad, that would have impacted, based on your observation, your son's ability to learn and your ability to support your son as you considered his academic journey and your desire to see him thrive in his learning?
Yes, I think, not I think I know that there were quite a number of challenges. First of all, I think for me, our son got lost in the process of transitioning to online, because it's a process of the teacher learning and the student learning, everyone transitioning at the same time. And somehow we got lost in that process. And I found that many times he wasn't on point, he wasn't following instructions, he wasn't submitting class assignments. And many times, things will be happening and he's not engaged. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for, not really engaged in the process. So as a consequence, you found that assignments weren't being delivered on time, and that impacted his learning and his ability to be prepared for assessments. So there was a whole ripple effect because of that lack of engagement.
All right. And so, Daddy Rollocks, of course, is father of a teenage child. And we have Mommy Richards, who is the mommy of all primary level students. So, Mommy Richards, as you reflect on your journey, what would have been those challenges that would have stood out as a concern or concerns to you as you got prepared to help your children with their learning because they were now learning from home?
Well, number one was scheduling. It was a big challenge for us because I have to balance work, I have to balance being a parent, and I have to balance, assisting them all the time because some of my youngest is 5, so he needed that one-on-one assistant there to make sure he stay put, sit down, because he never got the opportunity to know what is to sit in a traditional classroom setting because of the pandemic. And that transition from preschool to primary level was a bit tough on him. But the older ones, it was the same thing, just making sure that they were able to maintain their schedules, follow their timetables, and get things done. So my biggest challenge will have been in scheduling.
Okay, now we opened up the Excellence in Parenting series by introducing the Excellence Journal. Now, through the Excellence Journal, students and their parents are taken through a series of templates that include goal setting, study timetables, journal prompts, reflections, and other prompts that help the learner to plan for increased optimization of study efforts. So I want to return to you, Mommy Richards, and ask you, as you began to explore the use of the Excellence Journal, what was that experience like for you? What were your takeaways, not from the webinar series just yet, but just looking at the Excellence Journal as a tool to use with your kids? What was your experience with using it? To what extent did it change or impact your ability to support your kids or your ability for your kids to learn differently? What was the experience?
Well, now that we could have, get those schedules down pack, it definitely is, be able to write down what it is we're looking for, what was the challenges of the day, what we need to work on, what we need to do to better thing, and how we going to maintain the achievements that we did have. So the Excellence Journal was definitely the tool that I love the most during this online process of schooling, because I was able to guide my children throughout, especially this last term, because that's when it was probably introduced to me. So the last 2 terms, I was like lost. So with the Excellence Journal, I was able to kind of maintain and get these children, my kids, back on track in terms of their grades and everything, because we had a system that was working for us.
Mm. And Daddy Rollux, what about you? What was the experience of observing your son? Because you have a teenage child. What was the experience observing your son in using it, and even you in going through and modeling through to be able to better support him? What was that experience like for you?
It was a great experience. In fact, I would say it was an excellent experience, to go along with the name of the journal. Um, I think the first thing was coming to terms with the reality that I could not take a hands off approach to my son's education. This was just something for his teacher to do, and I would just stand and watch this process. I had to be more involved and engaged, and it's one of the things that the journal helps. It helps you as a parent to be involved and engaged, and to be I felt a level of confidence because I felt like I was on top of what was happening. First of all, everything was in one place. I had all his timetable, his learning goals. I could see what he was learning every day, the notes he was taking, and his own notes, to see how he interpreted what was happening during the classes. It just put everything together. I mean, just even personal information. The journal had everything in it that a parent would want to see at a glance as to what's important in the child's education planning. So I think the idea of making the transition to becoming more hands-on and involved, having everything in one place, right? I found what was particularly good was the journaling for my son, right? Because what happened is the journaling expanded beyond just the class, and he started journaling everything. So he started making a note of what he learned in class and out of class. He was just journaling. So I found that was important because you learn along the way that the education is much more than what you just learn in class. And if you could develop a learning attitude, so and I really have to give credit for the Excellence Journal for bringing that out in my son. And these are just some of the things and many, many more that the journal really helped with.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. And I just really want to take a quick moment and give honor to both of you because just the fact that you're able to sit here this evening and articulate the challenges. Because listen, truth is, many parents are still in the zone where they're just frustrated, full stop. They're not necessarily able to break it down, explain it, give words to how they feel and what they're experiencing. And so I feel so honored to know that you all could have transitioned through an experience where you're not just sitting flustered and frustrated, but having gone through this experience, collaborating together with me, that you would have been able to now be in a place where you're very clear about what the challenges were. And again, we have to give kudos to that. We're not saying what the challenges are, but having gone through that process, I'm sorry, I was just laughing at a comment I'll share with you in a moment. But going through the process of being able to identify the challenges, and forgive me, I just laughed. A parent was saying, please, please stop calling adult people daddy and mommy. We are adults. Yes, Mr. Munasa, I hear you. I will definitely remember when I'm chatting with you that I should not call you dad. But I really honor you parents for the work that you've put in and the dedication you've given to this process. I really want to honor that. And even as we continued on, we were able to recognize the importance of having the Excellence in Parenting program. Because now what the Excellent Parents program did is that it allowed parents not just to have the book and figure it out on their own, but the same way we have a situation where the child would have the classes and we give them the help they need to understand the process that they're going through. Now, moms and dads have the opportunity to be able to go through that similar process and have their hands held. So I want to give you all a moment, please, to share those hashtag light bulb moments, because I'm sure your takeaway could be the takeaway for many other parents in sharing what is there to understand, what's the big deal, what should I know to do differently. So Mommy Richards, when you think about your hashtag light bulb moment that we would have been sharing all through the webinar series, what would you say were those standouts for you?
It was definitely in making smart goals, getting those specific, measurable, attainable
Yes.
are just not ringing a bell right now.
Relevant.
Relevant
Yes.
and time. Yes.
Time bound, yes.
Yes. And in making those smart goals was the thing. So, making sure that what I'm doing is just not just blurting out. I have want these big achievements out of my kids, and they are just not in their reach. But being specific about it, and giving them the opportunity to rise to the occasion. So that was definitely my standout and my ask moment.
So let me ask you, Mommy Richards, when you think about maybe a parent who is listening that is saying, "What is this SMART goal about? If it works for you, I want to try it too." What would you recommend or say is the thing that they should understand to be able to, in their home with their own children, be able to implement or attempt making SMART goals?
It will definitely means that you make a goal for your kids, that or they make a goal for themselves, that is something that they can reach. So if you know that your child is in the 50% average, you don't tell them, well, in within a month time I expect you to be 100%, because it's not something that they could actually attain at that point in time. But making small steps towards it, and increasing the way that they will have learned, or trying new things that will help them to get that process going, is what we're going to look forward to doing, instead of just giving them
Yes.
numbers, giving them, say, in a month time you have to be the top of your class, and be specific on what it is you're saying to them at all times.
Yes, thank you, Mom. And Daddy Rolex, tell me, what was your light bulb moment, that thing that you took away from the Excellence in Parenting webinar series that you could share that other parents who maybe were not a part of the April cycle could also take away?
Just one you want? There was so many
You,
light bulbs.
listen, the floor is open to
Um,
you.
yeah, I would say, I think first of all that understanding that learning is it's a family experience, and I think that's what jumped out at me, because it engaged the entire family in learning, and that also helped my son because everyone was engaged. You understand? So I think that was a big part of it, the whole family experience, everyone coming together, and the Excellent Journal helped to put everything together, helped to hold all the hands, so we were all engaged in this process, in a structured process, working towards the learning goals that our son had identified. I think another big thing was the fact that, you know, Mommy Richards earlier spoke about the SMART goals. And where we found that very helpful was in when it came to review, we were encouraged to review at periodic times. And having the SMART goals made it easier to review because you knew exactly what you were looking for, you because
Yeah.
you knew what that goal was. So you just weren't, picking something in the air, but something very specific and relevant to your child and where our son was. So I think that was two of the big light bulb moments that I would say that were very powerful coming out of the program.
I love that. And I want to encourage parents, even as they look at what they want to take away, to consider the notion of empower. We spoke about empowering and positive dialogue actually throughout the program. And one of the things that was emphasized is the importance of recognizing that as parents, we are there to empower in words, in with our body language, and with the atmosphere that we set. And when we say we're empowering, it means that we want to help our children discover, and we want to keep our children inspired, no matter what the circumstance. And we want to keep that empowerment going as we continue to find solutions. So, whether you are working independently at home or you are collaborating with your service providers, the big encouragement there is to remember you want to remain solution oriented, because once we have that in our minds, we're going to be able to move forward, to be able to always be positioned to be finding those solutions to support, to empower our children
Yes.
towards learning. So even as we come to a close, just giving honor to the time that we spent together, guys, and to remind persons as well that the next cycle for the Excellence in Parenting begins September 2021, which means you definitely want to get registered in the month of August to be a part of that. So even as we think about the parents who are thinking, I I think I need a bit more help. I think I need a bit more support. What closing thoughts would you all want to leave with parents as they consider how they're going to be moving forward to support their kids in the coming academic term? Open question. Anybody go in any order?
Well, I will jump in first.
Sure.
Well, I would say, if you're a parent out there and you're listening, no matter at what stage your child is in, whether you feel your child has a big gap to cover or you feel your child is okay, I think this program ties everything together and it helps to prepare your child for lifelong learning because the principles you can apply across the board, not only for the schooling. As we saw, you began to see little changes outside of school because it helps to give them a structure, an approach to how they solve problems and so forth. So I think definitely, I will endorse it for any parent. If you want to prepare, you're out there, you're interested in lifelong learning for your child, this is a program that will help. I think the other thing that helped, it helped to change the language around the home because earlier you spoke about positive affirmation and being solution oriented. So as a parent, it forced me to check myself. Every time I was about to say, how many times I told you about that? I tired talk to you about that. You know what? You're not listening, Because of the program, I had to now change my language. I was forced to check myself before I spoke and think about how else can I um, encourage and support learning, but not from a negative perspective. So I think that kind of dynamic effect that happens within the family setting is also to me very valuable because it then therefore even improves the relationship with your child. So I think
Yes.
if you want to address those gaps, you want your child to be a lifelong learner, you want to address even family relations. I think the scope of this journal goes way beyond just the classroom. So I think it's an excellent tool for every parent and for every child, every student.
Thank you, Mommy Richards. What about you?
Definitely piggybacking off of Mr. Daddy Rollocks. um, I would say that one of the most, well, the takeaway I will say for you all is that at the end, it starts with a parent. In order to teach your child, you need to start with the parents to be that example, to be that person,
Yes.
to mold, to bring them up, to guide them, to do everything. And the Excellence Journal is definitely the tool. And the bonus in doing the parenting webinars are the icing on the cake. This is the thing that's going
Yes.
to get you through the process. It's going to guide you. It's going to help you for life. So it's set, and you don't ever have to worry about how you're going to, do what you're doing with your child, how you're going to help them, how you're going to reach your needs, because it's a hands-on tool that basically tells you your child challenges, tells you your child's achievements. It tells you where to go, what to do with your child, how to do what you need to do with your child. And it's from your child's perspective as well as yours. So it is something that is definitely worth the trying, worth doing. So that's my takeaway. Join next cycle.
I love it. Thank you, Mommy Richards. I really, again, I want to give honor to all the parents that joined in the April 2021 cycle. Of course, we're preparing for September 2021 when we're going to be taking in a whole new group of parents and really holding your hands and guiding you through that process to understand how you as a parent can rise up in a new dimension and better support your kids from home. So that way, whether they're continuing to learn online, there's blended learning where they have a partial schedule and they have some sessions at home and some sessions at the physical school. Whatever it would be, you are the foundation, moms and dads. You're the ones who's able to set that gap, set the foundation. And I'm not saying become the teacher, but I'm certainly saying you have a vital role in bridging that gap, in creating a support system system for your children in their ability to have a physical environment where they can learn well, in order for them to have a mental and emotional well-being to learn, and be able to be surrounded by a framework that empowers them to get the academics done. So I want to thank all of you who joined us, whether for the April cycle, you joined in first time looking at this video. Get in touch with us. Our contact numbers are 310-8979 or 272-1987. Get in touch, stay in touch. We look forward to hearing from you, and be sure to check in with your school, because we're offering a free series this July and August. So if your principal has not reached out to you to say, hey, you can get a free webinar entry for free. I keep emphasizing for free. It's at no cost to you. Make sure you reach out to your school to find out how they can book you a spot in the upcoming Excellence Freemium series that's taking place in July and August. So until then, everyone, take care. It's been awesome. Have a great night. Stay safe.
Hi, I am Chanel Richards, proud mom of 3. I use the Excellence Journal to help track and also to have that dialogue with my kids on their day-to-day journey as they go along with their academics. It is a prompt to help us to understand what they achieve and what they understand from the day-to-day, as well as what challenges they have. But I can take every month I could track it, and I could even have that conversation with their teacher and say, this is the situation, this is where my child is, having difficulties, what can we do next? So it's a planning, it's a strategic way of knowing what to do next. I will recommend the Excellence Journal for all parents, especially when you want to keep that healthy dialogue with your kids.